The painter knocked Ammon when he laid sick and near unto death, being in the power of Ammon because of his deeds. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now let me tell y'all where they copied, what they copied from this and put it in the Bible. Notice here, we got a person here who's sick. Right? Not only is he sick, but he is terminally ill because of some stuff that he did. That's what it says. While he laid near unto death, sick near unto death, being in the power of Ammon because of his deeds. Here we have the story of a father who petitions God and says, God, have mercy on my son. I'm reminded of my mom. See, I ain't always have good sense, y'all. Every now and then I still kind of lose it. But when I was young, I had a very, 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 very quick temper. And it didn't take nothing to get me upset. And sometimes when I get angry, or my mom would try to teach me how to walk in the right path, I get an attitude. I would never speak back to her, never have, never talk back to my mom, never. But I take it out in other ways. I'd jump in the car. I had a Z28 Camaro back then. And I'd jump in the car, and for as far as she could hear me going down the street, it was rubber burning. Mad. And I can't tell you the many nights that when I left out that front door in such a manner, how that woman of God stopped everything and went into my bedroom and got down on her knees and prayed, Lord, please take care of my food. I don't know if y'all really believe in the power of prayer. I don't know if you do or not. But I know that if somebody hadn't prayed for me, I wouldn't be standing here today. Thank God for those who prayed for me when I wouldn't even pray for myself. But here you see, this is not something that we got from the Roman Catholic Church. This is something that's a part of our genes, man. They copied this and put it in the Bible and said, if there's any among you sick, let him call for the elders of the church, and the prayer of faith will save the sick. Here's where they copied it from. Notice the next paragraph. I found the Lord of Lords coming as a north wind, and the sweet breezes went before him. And he did what, y'all? He did what? He rescued my son. Knocked Ammon, the vindicated, the son of God's painter, in the place of truth, Nebrah, and of the lady Pesh, both of whom stand vindicated. Now check, this goes on. Next paragraph. Nebrah says what? Though the servant be inclined to do what? Make mistakes. What happens? The Lord is inclined to do what? Is that right? Is that right? Is it true that the Lord of thieves does not spend a whole day in anger? Look at somebody and say, I'm so glad God ain't like you. Go on, tell him. And look back at him and say, you better be glad he ain't like me either. Because if God was reactionary, like we are reactionary, guess what, y'all? None of us would be sitting up in here today. I'm so glad that the God of our ancestors walk around with his bottom lip stuck out, pouting. Woo, man. He is angry but for a moment, and none of it remains behind. The wind turns for us in his mercy, and Amun-Ra comes back upon the breeze. May your spirit be always kind. May you always forgive. Wow. Now you see where they get that from? They put that in the Bible too. Forgive others of their trespasses. Right? That's right. It's the way God has forgiven you. And what was, check this now, and what has once been turned away and may, let me read this in my glass, man, I'm getting old. May what has once been turned away not come back to us. Wow. Notice the next section. I don't have time to go through this whole thing. Oh, no, I don't. That's all I got is 5 minutes. Wow. Okay. Amun-Ra is the helmsman who knows the water well. He is the rudder for the weak. He gives bread to those who have none and sustains those who serve him in his temple. Now what I want to do, since I only have a few minutes left, is run up and tell y'all about the man that y'all were taught to hate. You were all taught about this evil Pharaoh. Right. Weren't you? Yes, sir. Who was it? Ramses, right. You were taught that he was an evil Pharaoh. You were taught that this man was an agent of the devil. You were taught that he enslaved the Hebrews and he wouldn't let them go, and God had to come and kill his firstborn and turn the Nile River into blood and bring frogs into Egypt and all that kind of. You were taught all that. That's right. That's right. You were taught about how many plagues? How many plagues was it? Was it 10 plagues? 7, 10, whatever. Look at somebody next to you and say, not one plague ever took place. Not one of them. The whole thing is a story made up by Jewish people to make the world think that they're God's chosen people. See, I think I said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it to you again. Everybody say this. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. Write that down. I wrote that. All right, so you can put that in a book somewhere. You can put Dr. Ray Hagins. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. Here you have a group of imposters who came and created a lie and wrote themselves into history, and being that they had the first printing presses, they put it in a thing called the Gutenberg Bible. That was the first Bible printed, y'all, from the Gutenberg printing press. This story was made up about some Jews being held captive in Egypt by this great Pharaoh, and we were all taught that this man disobeyed God and God had to punish him, and God drowned his whole army. That's a lie. That never happened. Now if you feel it's worth it, come on and go with me to Egypt so I can show you the evidence of what did happen, because it's still inscribed in stone. What did happen is the Hyksos, European invaders from the north, came in and invaded Egypt. And God raised up an African pharaoh named Amos. And Amos said, we need to take back our land. And Amos put an army together and drove these European invaders out of Egypt and drove them into the Noctis River or the Nile River, and they drowned. It's all in stone, man. All in stone right there in the temple of Ramses, in the Ramses temple. And the Europeans went in there and saw that and twisted the whole story. It's also in the same temple you see the story of a woman taking fruit from a tree and giving it to Pharaoh, because Pharaoh had prayed to God to give him wisdom. Got me?